Hi everyone, welcome to our first webinar by VP Academy, Bridging the Digital Gap in the Eyewear Business. I hope all our attendees have good internet connections and that we are audible and that you can see us clearly. Please, can you give us some sort of a message or something to give us? The panelists, I can see from the attendees point of view, can you see us, attendees? Is there any way of checking?
No, the attendees are out.
Okay, so they're good. So firstly, I would like to welcome and thank all our esteemed guests and panelists for today. To begin with, Mr. Siraj Bolar, CEO, editor of Vision Plus magazine, Mr. Akash Goyal, country manager and managing director of Luxottica India, Mr. Ashutosh Vaidya, managing director of Safilo India, Mr. Ketan Parekh, Managing Director of Sterling Metaplast, Mr. Ronak Sheth, Director of Eternity Lifestyle, Mr. Bhavin Kothari, CEO, partner of Ganko and Iris Brands, and Mr. Martin Guerra, from CEO of Essilor South Asia. Last but not the least, we have Mr. Rohan Paul, Business Head Vision Care for Carl Zeiss India. And before we begin, I would like to call upon Mr. Siraj Bolar, the organizer, to open this program with his words. Please, sir, can you take it over? Mr. Siraj Bolar.
Thanks, Jasbir. Good afternoon, friends, and a warm welcome to all of you, the panelists, as well as the audience of this program. COVID-19 has brought the whole world to its knees, and how long it will take to recover from this situation cannot be guessed by anyone. It has, at the same time, forced us to think most of the things in a new way. Thanks to today's advanced technology, in spite of sitting inside our houses, locked down, we can meet in this big number on this amazing platform and discuss what newer methods we should use to overcome the problems we are facing today in our business. Our panelists are very well known in the optical industry, and I'm sure they will offer good insights and the audience will benefit from that, from what they speak. On the whole, this meeting will help us in evolving in our business practice in the coming days. That's the hope. Over to you, Jasbir, and let the program begin.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Siraj. I would like to let our audience know that we have multiple polls during the event, and you are requested to please participate in them. We would want your feedback. We also have Q&A options available. Please use this also. I'm sure you will find a lot of questions coming to your head, especially because of the list of panelists, which is as attractive as it is today. We will try and take as many questions as possible, but towards the later part of the show. Some of the questions will be emailed back to you if possible, if we cannot answer most of them here. And some questions will be answered by our panelists during the event itself. So keep your questions coming. We will try and take as many towards the end. Dear panelists, if you find any questions that you want to respond to, feel free to take it on and respond to it directly. And you can always respond at this point itself. So let's begin. Digital. What does this word mean? It has different meanings for everyone. For some, it's about buying online, like Amazon, Flipkart, Lenskart. For some, it's Facebook, Instagram. And for some, it's technology used in various vision correction, like 3D eyewear, digital lenses, freeform. And in Hindi, if I have to say this, digital, इस शब्द का क्या मतलब है? कुछ लोगों के लिए इसका मतलब ऑनलाइन परचेज है, जैसे Amazon, Flipkart, Lenskart, और औरों के लिए Facebook और Instagram डिजिटल है, और कुछ लोगों के लिए डिजिटल ये एक टेक्नोलॉजी है जिससे वो कनेक्ट करते हैं 3D या लेंस, ये टेक्नोलॉजी के नाम से जानते हैं उनको, और ये सब अलग से आ रहा है. और now before we begin, we'd like to bring everyone's focus on the new definition of digital post-lockdown. Even the economy now might see a few changes and we really don't know what it's going to be like. इकोनॉमी में क्या चेंजेस आएंगे ये किसी को पता नहीं, पर ये कंफर्म्ड है कि अलग है. Yes, we all know it will be different. So we are actually at the doorstep of a new digital economy. आगे क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, सच बोलूं तो किसी को पता नहीं है कल कंज्यूमर का मूड कैसे होगा. Today's topic would be to understand whether the economy is ready, and our industry for that matter is ready for the new digital economy. I'm sure you're all aware of the digital gap in the eyewear industry and in our business. And let me address this. Why is it imperative that the digital gap is addressed urgently? Unlike the older generation, jo pichla generation, the new generation of customers is used to more digital options, more digital convenience. नए generation को digital की आदत पड़ गई है. Research shows that online searches on digital devices are today the first step in shopping. If you're not present there, then the potential customer is already lost. अगर online search करते वक्त आपका store नहीं मिलता है, तो सोच लें वो customer आपके हाथ से गया. This is the digital part of it. Now, coming to the optical retail part of it. Eyewear needs a touch, feel, and fit to complete the purchase experience, which makes the optician's role very important even today. क्योंकि चश्मे खरीदने के वक्त टच, फील और फिट की जरूरत है, ऑप्टिशियन आज भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. Opticians and maybe even brand owners are not ready for a truly digital experience for the end consumers. Optician ही नहीं, brand owner भी आज सही माने में 100% digital experience के लिए तैयार नहीं है. I'm sure you all and my panelists agree with this. So I have put forward why we need to do this, why we need to bridge this gap. And now I'm going to go ask you the how and what of this. So here is the how, simply. How can brands and retailers collaborate to meet today's digital challenges in the eyewear industry? Brands और opticians एक दूसरे के साथ मिलकर इस digital challenge को कैसे handle करेंगे? I would like to first start with, I think, Mr. Akash from Luxottica. Can you please be our first respondent? Mr. Akash.
So, good afternoon to everybody. I hope all of you are healthy and safe. And see, Jasbir, you are making some very important points.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Jasbir?
Yeah, I can. I can't see your screen, but I'm hoping it is. Can others see Mr. Akash's screen? Yeah, he's able to see of you. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Okay. So, Jasbir, you made a very important point, right? However, we need to see it in perspective, right? जो हम ये digital और physical की जो बात कर रहे हैं, the consumer evolution had begun even before COVID. ऐसा नहीं है कि it is just because after COVID things will change. Even before COVID things were changing, right? The consumer today, they were not looking at digital and physical being two completely different worlds, right? And by implication, they were moving in between the two worlds very, very seamlessly. I think it is us as brands and as retailers, we were kind of a little behind and we need to play catch up. And what will COVID do right now is it will hasten this process of we bridging this gap. The other thing, when we talk about digital, a lot of times we talk about purchasing online as being digital. That's not only digital. There are three parts to a purchase, right? There is the pre-purchase, which is the research phase. There is the actual purchase, and then there is the post-purchase or the after-sales part of it. I think in the pre-purchase and the post-purchase part of it is where digital will play a very, very important role. And that is where the brands and the retailers both can collaborate. I'm not saying purchase will not be important. Of course, purchase will be important, and digital in purchase will also play a role. But whether that will be in the physical world or in the online world is something that can be debated. And digital will find a place both. Now, let me give you an example with, in terms of what I mean. Right? In the pre-purchase phase, we know today that the consumers would do like to research, and they would like to research about the products that they would like to buy. That is where digital plays an important role. In the post-COVID world, the consumer would like to shorten the journey inside the store. I would not like to spend the same amount of time inside the store as what I was doing earlier. So, okay, if I have already kind of done my research, if I have already received expert feedback from my preferred optician online, my journey inside the store can be a lot shorter, right? Post-purchase, I have a service issue. It's just a simple repair that needs to be done. Why do I need to walk into the store? Specifically today's with all these hyper-local deliveries and all these things happening, it's not a very expensive thing to do, where a store could just pick up the goods and then do it. So, so these are the various places where digital can play an important role. As far as the brands are concerned, right? When we are talking about journey in the physical space, the brands can provide the retailers the content. The most important part is the content in helping the opticians go online, right? It is also about the brands being able to kind of providing the proper selling tools and the training to the staff of the retail stores, right, to help them sell online. It is not going to be the same journey. So there are various things that can be done together, but then it has to be done in a partnership approach. I will stop here, right, and I will let the other panelists speak, but I will come back to this during the course of the discussion.
Perfect, perfect. I think you've given a good direction as to how you do believe that the time that they're going to spend will be lesser, and there will be a little bit of training that will be required in a collaborative way. That's what you're trying to. In Hindi, if I have to repeat, I think what you're saying is ऑप्टिशियन के लोकेशन पे customers कम time spend करेंगे. They will probably have more online में ज़्यादा काम कर सकेंगे. ऑप्टिशियन के लेवल का टाइम थोड़ा कम होगा, ऑप्शन का टाइम. एंड उसके बाद में अगर हो सके तो उनका इवन पोस्ट सर्विस में they will try and क्या बोलते हैं हिंदी में
the pre and the post purchase. I think that is where we
दोनों में हाँ दोनों में उनका जरूरत पड़ेगा कि डिजिटल का हाथ ज्यादा रहेगा अभी. सही, good. So I think we can now take this question to Mr. Ashutosh from Safilo. Mr. Ashutosh, please.
Yeah, good afternoon. Namaskar, everybody. As Akash has said, the digital divide. एक ऑप्टिशियन के लिए डिजिटल डिवाइड या ये जो सब्जेक्ट हम एड्रेस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि एक ऑप्टिशियन के लिए कि आम ऑप्टिशियन के लिए फॉर एन ऑर्डिनरी ऑप्टिशियन व्हाट इज अ डिजिटल डिवाइड एंड व्हाई इट इज एंड हाउ दिस कैन बी ब्रिज्ड और दिस कैन बी एड्रेस्ड. Well, in my mind, the simply put, the digital divide for an optician is कि एक ऑप्टिशियन के लिए डिजिटल डिवाइड क्या है कि ऑप्टिशियन के यहाँ जितने भी कस्टमर आते हैं उसमें डिजिटली इन्फ्लुएंस कस्टमर कितने हैं. हाउ मेनी कस्टमर्स आर वॉकिंग इनटू ऑप्टिशियन स्टोर्स व्हिच आर डिजिटली इन्फ्लुएंस्ड. 1, 2, 100, I don't know. Now, you cannot isolate digital saying that digital is an enemy. Digital will coexist with rest of the channel. Now, look at, say, for example, Amazon or a Flipkart, when they do their big billion day, still they advertise in the newspaper. It's not that everything is, so for them also the channel is existing together. Now, if the digitally influenced customer getting into the stores are less, and that is the area, that is the divide which optician has to work on it. Means what? एक कस्टमर की जो जर्नी है, जर्नी ऑफ अ कस्टमर स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम गेटिंग द इंफॉर्मेशन, गेटिंग द नॉलेज, देन चेकिंग द प्राइस, देन वेयर टू गो, व्हाई टू गो टू दैट पर्टिकुलर शॉप, एंड देन हैविंग अ सेंसरी मतलब टच फील एक्सपीरियंस एंड द पोस्ट परचेस एक्सपीरियंस. ये जो जर्नी है, नाउ लॉट ऑफ दिस जर्नी इज बीन इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय डिजिटल. And there are categories, for example, airline ticket booking, simple category. I'm sure this possibly this is 100% or 95% influenced by digital appliances, home furnishing. It's 70-80% influenced by digital. One important thing, my opinion, it's to understand. Now, imagine digital is a today's baby. It's born maybe 5, 10, 20 years ago. And look at an optician. See, optician to me, in a marketing language, if we have to divide, if we have to speak, most of them are in a baby boomers time, born in 60s or 70s, and they are now facing a baby, and which this baby is it's behaving erratically. So they don't know how to handle this baby, because this baby is different. So a mindset change for an independent optician, एक independent optician जो आज 40 या 50 साल उम्र का है, और ये जो नया बच्चा पैदा हुआ है, जो कैसे बिहेव करता है उसे भी समझता नहीं है. तो ये दोनों की जो गैप है, ये ब्रिज हम हमारे बिजनेस में कैसे कर सकते हैं, ये जानना मैं समझता हूँ it's extremely important. More and more we understand, more and more we'll realize this tool, it's actually a good weapon. It's not a bad weapon. Today we think it's possibly not a good weapon because we don't know how to handle it. The day we realize how to handle it, I'm sure we know, we will understand. Take an example of WhatsApp. We know it's a good weapon. So that's my view, just based.
Interesting. So if I have to summarize what you're saying that the whole thing is people have been seeing digital as an enemy. It is not an enemy, and they were not equipped to handle this. Unka, the generation that they are coming from, for them, this is like a newborn baby. नया बच्चा है जो उनको handle करने नहीं आता, और जब सीखेंगे तब उसका पूरा फायदा समझ में आएगा, कैसे क्या इसके बेनिफिट्स हैं, और उनको डरना नहीं चाहिए, बट हैंडल करके आगे बढ़ाना है इसको. I think it's a very valid point. Not to fear digital, it's a friend if you can tame it properly. And in that sense, now next I have Mr. Ketan Parikh from Sterling. Mr. Ketan, handing over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Jasbir. I wish all of you and your families are safe. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk today. I think rightfully what Akash and Ashutosh has said, I would say that 50%, both of them are correct in a certain way. But however, while digital is extremely important in a country like India and will help accelerate businesses who adapt to that digital technology, it's also important to understand that 50% or 70% of India still is not able to do everything digitally themselves. So a lot of rural areas of our countries, a lot of the smaller opticians of India will need some time to address this. While I understand it is going to be accelerated, but at the same time, I think it's very easy for them to adapt small changes with the help of the brand owners and push this information to their customers. Overnight, while it is being accelerated, I do not believe that overnight things will change. And I also believe that some part of this will come back in the next year. So answering that digital will help the opticians, yes, is going to help the opticians, especially in the urban areas immediately. I agree with Akash that there's a pre-purchase, that the young generation of today is actually pre-decided on what he wants. And then he will go to closest store that he has, and if that store has the product, and he's going to buy that product from that store. So I think it's very important for the opticians to understand and coexist with the brands by saying that, yes, these are the brands that we have. And it's important for brand owners also to say that these are the products that are available at the stores in the local area. So I understand the digital gap has to be bridged, but I personally feel it will take a little bit time for the mass part of India to completely come on this platform. And I 100% agree with Ashutosh where we say that the opticians will have separate business and the digital business of online like Lenskart will remain as it is. I don't think the two will coexist in a very nice way. There could be small percentage difference in a short period of time where maybe the online business can take over, but eventually the touch and feel of, which is very, very important aspect of our business, the opticians have definitely nothing to worry on the long stay. Thank you. Back to you.
I'm very happy, but I think you have a slightly different approach from probably I would say your approach is slightly more traditional as compared to more digital. I think most other people are saying that digital. What I get from you is digital है लेकिन traditional जाने का chance बहुत कम है. So you are I'm glad that there is a slightly different opinion coming from you. That traditional touch and feel will make opticians, यानी कि touch and feel की वजह से opticians relevant रहना और उनको डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. Digital ये दोनों साथ में ही रहेंगे.
Digital will help them. Digital will help them.
Will help them, yeah. And they should adapt to it. They have to adapt, but it is something that will coexist. It's a good thing. So not letting them down. Here, from here, I'm going to take one poll. I think, so we have some polls and I think it's time for our first poll. If everyone is ready, please go through the polls and give me our feedback. This is our first poll coming up. Are you ready for the new digital economy? So, आपका business कितना ready है digital के लिए? किस हद तक ready है? इसका please respond to this. While before we go to the next poll, I need answers. So, आपके पास अंदाज़न 5-10 मिनट है to respond to this. इसके बाद में अगला poll आएगा तो ये बंद हो जाएगा. Please respond. In the meantime, now I'm going to go forward and take this question to Ronak. Hi, Ronak. Are you there?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So first and foremost, I'm sure you are all safe and healthy, but my wishes are now that you stay more happy, healthy, and safe. So taking it on from whatever my other panelists have talked about, I think I have a little similar and a differential point of view with Ketan and Ashutosh or Akash in some senses, because a mix of all. But what I really feel is that, digital is not really the enemy, to be very, very honest to you. There is so much that we do digitally, like Ashutosh said, for example, ticketing. We do like, DTH recharging, phone recharging, and tons of things. Everyone is going digital. Even my mother, who's like 80 years old, she can easily use WhatsApp. So I think all of us need to look at digital not as an enemy, but really look at digital as something that can catapult us to the next stage. जैसे आशुतोष ने बोला था कि in marketing language, these are most of the opticians are baby boomers. 60s, 70s वो लोग ने start किया था. But now the point is ये हर एक baby boomer के babies आ गए हैं जो business में. So now their point is that they should be more open towards the digital medium. And also we need to understand for every business that the consumer is always smarter than us. हमारा customer हमसे ज़्यादा smart है. This is a fact. And today with all the internet and all the information available, we cannot think that we can put him into a corner और हम जो बोलेंगे वो समझ जाएगा. It's not like that. So ये नए customer के लिए, like what Akash had spoken, the pre-purchase. So pre-purchase happens in his house. तो हम उसके घर में कैसे हैं? And digital is not only e-commerce. Digital is WhatsApp. Digital is Facebook. Digital is Instagram. Digital is a lot of mediums. It's not just e-commerce. So just to give you an example and adding to what Ketan is saying, my point is to take the best of all the panelists and give my opinion also. Ketan ne bataya ki a lot of Indian opticians are in non-urban areas. But the fact is that today, when most of us opticians consider digital, we think of, for example, Lenskart as the one of the example as what is digital and what is e-commerce. But अगर आप Lenskart का story भी देखेंगे तो 70% of business probably is from its offline business, so it's physical business. So there's nothing to really worry. We have to take the example of Lenskart and see how they are marrying. उन्होंने कैसे physical और digital को merge किया है. So actually, the new mantra is not physical, not digital. It's phygital. So I would say, every optician needs to think on those lines and, look at digital very positively. There are lots and lots of benefits, and we as a brand or us as a community, all of us on this panel, is more than helpful to go one step forward to really help them in going physical and digital. because omni-channel is the new experience. You shop from home, buy at the retail store, you buy at the retail store, deliver, return back from home. You know, this is the new reality and not difficult at all. Over to you guys.
Okay, very nice to hear that. I think what he's saying again is very similar in that okay, digital is like omni-channel is the good word, and it's physical and digital ka combination, which is the mantra. Basically, ये दोनों चाहिए, and we need to have both of these, physical and digital. And from here, I'm going to take this to Bhavin. Mr. Bhavin, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Please, yeah.
Am I clear?
Yes.
Can you hear me, Jaspreet?
Yeah.
All right, great. Thanks, Jaspreet. Good afternoon, friends and colleagues from the Vision Care fraternity. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be here with such an esteemed group of panelists. I do hope everyone is safe and honestly building some strong immunity for the times ahead. A big thank you to the IIO and the 4+ teams to organize this webinar and allowing me to present a Gangco and an Iris brand's perspective. It's really great to connect with all our industry partners. So the question which is there is that how can brands and retailers collaborate to meet the digital challenge? So I would like to start actually by just a simple example. You are driving in a car with your family on a highway. You see numerous billboards, petrol pumps, food outlets, etc. You absorb these messages because you may need to fill fuel and eat. Everyone in the car and whoever else is also on the highway is also seeing these same messages, right? The number of messages is limited. It's the same message for everybody on the highway. This is the physical and traditional view. Now you are at home, you are on different apps consuming messages and announcements through advertisements and things. The more we absorb, the more we receive. These messages can be different for all of us, right? This is the digital highway, and this is what we are in reality right now. The key difference between the two is that on the digital highway, you can pinpoint the target. There is an inherent power of being digital. That's huge. And in India, we have the cheapest digital rates in the world. So data access is the main driver of this particular digital concept. This leads to us knowing our audiences way better. It allows us to reach a specific audience at a specific time and a place. Therefore, I feel targeted advertising is the way forward. But digital is not easy. ये सस्ता भी नहीं है. Like Jaspreet said earlier, digital is not social media. It is not only e-commerce. इससे बहुत बड़ा है. And we have to understand that. It is a medium that allows us for a focused connection to our customers. And that is perhaps the biggest asset that we need to exploit. Online selling is very expensive and it's very investment heavy. It's not everyone's cup of tea, especially for a single store retailer or a 5-store retailer. There is an inherent cost to acquire a particular customer. So personally, I feel for most retailers, digital should be used as a communication tool to reach out to their customers proactively with targeted messaging. Digital also is very clustered. It's on a handful of apps, everybody is there, and it's extremely easy for your message to get lost. So how do you take the desire to buy online into an offline environment? I think that is a key issue which retailers face. How does a retailer tackle the pricing issue? Okay, how does a retailer actually go through and navigate these kind of waters? This is where retailers are struggling. This they cannot do on their own. That's there. It's too expensive. It's too vast for them to do it on their own. It's not possible. And I think this is where brands can help and collaborate with the retailer to move forward, to take them into the digital journey. Now, nearly every brand is digital, right? We all are somewhere in digital. But does having an Instagram page really make you digital? Is that the only thing? To me personally, a brand must show quality digital infrastructure. By this, I mean exhibiting an ability to drive digital ad spends, digital events, collaborations that eventually result in higher footfalls in the store. That is the key. Then only it's worthwhile to the retailer. Agar a brand nahi kar sakta hai, so then it loses value to the retailer. So then you are losing value to the retailer. Therefore, for me, the key objective for a good digital strategy should be as per the following. And the most important among this, the number one is to achieve higher footfalls at the retailer store. Second is targeted programs for key audiences. And third is complementing of a digital and traditional programs thus making the value of spend more desirable. So how, where, and what do we spend on, right? That's the $1 million question. Let's remember that every single rupee counts this year. I mean, none of us have the luxury of, trying out stuff and, doing that. That's just not going to happen this year. So I would like to elaborate more on this in the next part of the segment. Yeah. So how we can try and do that. Over to you, Jaspreet. Thank you.
Perfect. Very nice. To summarize your thing, what I'm understanding is what you're saying is digital is a highway जिसपे आप नॉर्मल हाईवे पे आप यू पास जो जाता है होर्डिंग देखता है, किसी को पता नहीं कि किसने आपका होर्डिंग देखा, लेकिन डिजिटल पे आपको पता है किस कस्टमर ने आपका होर्डिंग देखा. इसका ये फायदा उठाना है डिजिटल से. डिजिटल आपको टारगेटिंग का ऑप्शन देता है जो और कोई नहीं दे सकता, और इसका फायदा आपको पहले उठाना है. दूसरा, ऐसे एडवर्टाइज करना है कि ये एडवर्टाइजिंग आपको फुटफॉल इंक्रीज करे, और हो सके तो दूसरा उसका ब्रांड का वैल्यू बढ़ाने का स्कोप हो, तो और टारगेटिंग अच्छा हो. ये तीनों चीज अगर आप फोकस करें तो डिजिटल का फायदा उठा सकते हैं. और एक्सपेरिमेंट करने के लिए डिजिटल का आज का जमाना इतना कुछ खास नहीं है, लेकिन छोड़ नहीं सकते, इसमें फायदा काफी है, ये आपको यूज करना चाहिए. अब ये मुझे आई नीड टू गो टू वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट पोल. वी आर गोइंग टू क्लोज दैट पोल. इफ यू हैवंट फिनिश्ड, प्लीज क्लोज, and I'm going to take in the results for that for now. If we can have the results for the first poll before going to the second poll. Oh, so can you guys see the result? It seems like a very interesting result. So most people are on the digital platform, and there's a huge number. I mean, 35% already have basic website. Around 7% is showing that they have presence through Amazon and all that, and 13%, surprising, have in the industry of the poll are actually showing e-commerce website presence. Very interesting. And okay, 32% still don't have anything. So we have a good audience who we can help with this seminar. Moving forward, I'm going to take the next poll, and the next poll is about social media and digital communication. For digital communication, which is what is it that you find the most important for you? डिजिटल कम्युनिकेशन के लिए आप किस प्लेटफॉर्म पे ज्यादा भरोसा करते हैं और किसको इंपॉर्टेंट समझते हैं? प्लीज कीप कंटिन्यूइंग विद योर पोल्स. वी वांट योर फीडबैक टू अंडरस्टैंड. आपका फीडबैक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. बिफोर आई मूव टू नाउ द लेंस कंपनीज Essilor and Zeiss, I'd like to mention how they are significantly different. There has been a lot of effort by these companies, especially in helping India have world-class products, and they have invested in technology, branding, and in upgrading the services of the opticians. In the last few years, where selling sunglasses has not been very profitable for opticians in India, as it has moved to the digital space and other areas. So selling sunglasses has moved more to the digital space, and the outsiders have taken that advantage of that more than the opticians. It has been the lenses that has provided them the much needed income. So this is important, and this segment so far has not been affected by online and the digital platforms as much. So in Hindi, if I have to repeat this, इन लेंस कंपनियों ने पिछले सालों में इंडिया पे बहुत इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है ब्रांडिंग और ट्रेनिंग में, और ऑप्टिशियंस को एक इम्पॉर्टेंट लेवल तक लाने के लिए इनका बड़ा हाथ है. और जब सनग्लासेस का मार्केट ऑनलाइन जा रहा था, मॉल की तरफ और ऑनलाइन, ये लेंस सेगमेंट ही है जिसमें ऑप्टिशियंस का सबसे ज्यादा मुनाफा हो रहा था. और इस लेंस सेगमेंट में अब तक डिजिटल और ऑनलाइन ज्यादा असर नहीं कर पाया है. So I would like to now take this question on to the lens companies. But while you take this question, I would like to also explain what digital means to you as lens companies. I'm sure it's slightly different for you guys. I'll start with Mr. Martin from Essilor. Please, Mr. Martin. Hello? Is Mr. Martin there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little louder would be just, yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me
Hello?
now?
Yes, yeah.
Namaskar. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for the invitation amongst this panel. I hope indeed that everybody is safe and sound during these crazy, crazy times. And yes, indeed, these crazy times have triggered a lot of thoughts with regards to digital. If I would quickly recap what my point of view is here, is we need to be careful with digital that we don't, how would I say it, overestimate all of the glory that that can bring. Yes, the world is digitizing, but we need to be smart in how we leverage digital. Not everything can be digitized. Okay, and I think that, especially from a lens point of view, is definitely the case. And I feel that there are huge opportunities still today in the whole space of offline, and making sure that you, as an optician, enhances your relationship with your customers. And this is something which in the digital space you can either, how would I say it, you can either strengthen, but you also run the risk of losing your relationship if you don't play it well. So the whole effort that you see around omni-channel, and I know that some of my previous speakers have spoken to this effect as well, combining the online and the offline will be the absolute trick. And I don't believe that digital on its own will actually be the future. Okay, so it is all about smart digital and combining the online and the offline. And that will be the trick for all of us. And I think even for a lens company point of view, there are a lot of solutions out there today already that can help opticians to bring the offline and online together, not only for big chains, but also for the small independents. And I think that in this period of time is actually the opportunity. And how do you pick and choose the elements that makes you stand out and leverage digital in order to prepare yourself for the future?
Very interesting. I think I'll take this and try and convert this in Hindi for the guys. Martin कह रहे हैं कि डिजिटल है, लेकिन हर चीज में डिजिटल का इतना महत्वपूर्ण रोल नहीं है. इस चीज में ये है कि डिजिटल को और हमारा फिजिकल को कंबाइन करके ही आगे बढ़ना चाहिए. हमको पिक करना है, चूज करना है कि क्या क्या डिजिटल का लेना है, नहीं लेना है, और ये सब मिला के डिजिटल और फिजिकल का कॉम्बिनेशन ही स्पेशली लेंस में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि फुल डिजिटल आगे भी जाके फ्यूचर में भी नहीं हो पाएगा. This is what I have probably taken from this. I'm going to take this forward to Mr. Rohan. Please, Mr. Rohan, can you please come in?
Can you confirm if I'm audible?
Yes,
yeah.
Very much.
Okay. Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for taking out the time to join the webinar, and hope all of you are keeping safe. You and your loved ones are keeping safe. Please do follow the precautions and please keep safe. This is a very unprecedented time for all of us. And thank you very much for having me on this webinar. I'd like to start with a thought. All of us are actually not just aware about digital transformation and the impact that digital is having on our lives, but actually are living it, right? For example, if you look at how banking has changed as an industry, right? We do not go stand in long queues, have a manual process in place to actually avail of a loan. Loan actually has become a 10-second loan now, where you can get loans on the click of a button, right? If you look at the personal transportation space, for example, if you look at the cab aggregators and the services that they provide now, it's very convenient now to sit and book a cab from the convenience of your home, right? The two elements that actually I would want to really emphasize on from the two examples that I highlighted, which actually drive a certain behavior and drive adoption for these new technologies, are that in these both examples, these examples are examples of a very seamless experience, right? Where, let's say, if I were to avail of a loan online, but if there is still manual paperwork that comes in between, that makes it less effective, right? Or if I were to look at, let's say, the convenience angle, right? Sitting at home and being able to book it, right? So So obviously industries have moved, and our industry also has, while we have also moved, I think we also have a fair bit to go in terms of our digital journey. And some of the examples obviously are captured by the other esteemed panelists on the webinar. So the first example in my mind is one, how do you reach out to your consumer more effectively? So consumers are now more connected. You have almost about 300 million plus smartphone users in India. So how do you actually reach out to your consumer, and how do you, because the consumer journeys are now different. Consumer have a different shopping journey now versus what they had earlier. Right. So how do you effectively reach out to your customer? Now, as the poll also showed that different people are actually in different stages of their online presence, right? Some of them might not have a Google listing. Some of them might not have an effective way of reaching out to their customers. And we as brands are happy to collaborate with you, share best practices, because we obviously do not sell directly to consumers. We are happy to share best practices with you on our digital learnings to help your business and to enable you on your digital aspirations. The second point that I'd like to make is the fact that, you know, the one point that I mentioned when I was quoting these two examples was that, you know, it's important that, you know, I provide a seamless experience to my consumers. And I think that's important, right? So for example, if you look at Uber, let's say as a service, I need to book a cab, I get into the cab is navigated digitally, I reach the destination, the payment gets paid digitally, right? So I think it might be a good idea to look at the processes that I have in store, look at how they are digitally connected now, look at what can be integrated. For example, the consumer flow inside the optical store setup, right from the consumer stepping in to placing the order to actually receiving the order. How can you make it seamless? One element here could be, for example, let's say the orders that get placed right now are still manual to some extent, right? But brands like us provide the experience to customers where the orders can actually come in on an automated basis, right? And you can actually see where your order is, right? So in this digital world, how can you really connect the entire operations seamlessly? So that was the second point. The third bit also, I think this also got mentioned, was around, I think what is going to become more important now is the omni-channel experience. And, you know, I'd like to use this platform to kind of differentiate between the multi-channel and the omni-channel experience. A multi-channel experience might enable you to sell on various platforms, online and offline. But an omni-channel experience actually are very interconnected platforms where customers can actually start, let's say, a purchase, start the shopping journey. Let's say the discovery journey happens online, like we were mentioning, the product selection happens online, but they might choose to complete the shopping in store, right? So I think we as an industry should definitely work together and collaborate, because we would, as brands, we would definitely want you to be able to offer these services to your end consumers. And this is something that we can definitely look at collaborating with you on. And in terms of specific solutions that we as Zeiss have to offer, maybe I could come back to it in a bit.
Very, very nice. So आप ये बता रहे थे कि जैसे उबर एंड बैंकिंग इन अ वे सीमलेस डिजिटल एक्सपीरियंस दे सकता है. ऑप्टिकल में अभी तक तो ऐसा नहीं हो पाया है कि पूरा का पूरा ट्रांजैक्शन डिजिटली हो सके. तो इन दैट सेंस अभी तक तो ऐसा नहीं हो पाया, लेकिन हो सकता है कि डिजिटल आगे जाते हम लोग ऐसा कोई टेक्निक क्रिएट कर पाए कि पूरा का पूरा सीमलेस प्रोसेस हो सके, from brand owner to optician to consumer. अगर हो पाए तो we should work towards that. I think good idea. And from here I am going to, one second. So we have the polls, the results for the previous poll. If I can just get those in, and hopefully we have some good insights over here. Looks like WhatsApp is the winner. WhatsApp is almost 50% of the people are using WhatsApp as their digital tool. So, and followed by Facebook and Instagram. Very interesting insight. Everybody thought Facebook, Instagram में खर्चा करना चाहिए, सब WhatsApp पे खर्चा कर रहे हैं. Very good, interesting. So moving on to the next poll, brand owners and retailers relationship. So what kind of support do you expect from the brand owners in these current scenario? So what is the support? आज के situation में opticians, brand owners से किस तरह का support चाहते हैं? Please let us know. In the meantime, I'm going to move forward to the next part of it. Now we are going to the what part of it. Here, I would like to delve into specifics. So we have discussed how these things are today happening. Now, solutions is what we need. We can't just keep talking in the air. So let's see what initiatives and steps that you as brand owners are willing to take towards helping the retailers? Brand owners opticians को support करने के लिए आप क्या कर सकते हैं, क्या करना चाहते हैं? I would start with Mr. Akash. If you can give me your inputs on this, please. Mr. Akash, your mic is off. Your mic is on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can. Please, yeah. Great.
So thank you, Jasbir. But before I answer your question, Jasbir, I would like to dwell upon the previous point a little, right? Simply because all the questions that I am reading, which are there on the Q&A panel, a lot of those questions are still on online versus offline, and how do we compete with the online players with their cash balances and all that stuff. I think here there is a very pertinent point that needs to be made, and which is that whatever said and done, the largest online player today gets only about 10 to 15% of their revenue online. The balance 80-85% of their revenue is still coming from an offline store. And as opticians, all of us, we need to be very, very aware of this fact that we have an asset with us, which is very important. Digital is not only about competing with someone. Right? When I can talk about branded eyewear in particular. If you look at branded eyewear per se, branded eyewear is a very, very immersive experience, right? It's not an experience which can be given online, right? An algorithm cannot compete with the personal experience that you get for with an optical service inside the store, and that is something that is never going to happen. And that is where we need to, I come to my next point in a sense, then what do we mean when we say digital per se? And as brands, how can we collaborate with retailers to bridge this digital divide? If you look at a store per se, and the digital is not only about selling online. Right. I have talked about this earlier also in the pre and post purchase part of it. Digital is also about the way that we sell. Digital is about the way we communicate. Digital is about the way we work. Digital is also about the way that we reach our consumer. Right. Let me get more specific. If I was to talk about retail practice per se, I could very broadly divide it into three main constituents. The first would be the people inside the store. The second would be the demand and supply ecosystem. And the third, of course, is the consumer or cash. Right? So now if you look at three of these constituents separately, how brands and retailer can collaborate, let's look at the people part first. Now, in the post-COVID scenario, right, more than ever, there is this need that we would need to have people who can very seamlessly move from offline to online. What I mean is that my website alone cannot just be a tool for storytelling. My website can also offer services like having an expert being available to answer questions, right? Or an expert being available to explain specifically in the technical aspects, right? So that is one. Digitization also allows training on demand. It is not necessary that you need to sign up for a particular training program and you need to go to a particular place. You miss a days of work to get training done. That is not something which digital actually negates that. Digital allows you to do your training on demand. You should be asking your brands to be able to help you in that. Right. Digitization is also about helping you have a consistent story across stores, specifically people who have chain stores or specifically people who have multiple stores. It's very important to have a consistent story, and working with your people, training your people, digital becomes a very, very important tool there. The second constituent that I talked about, the demand and supply ecosystem, right? We talk about selling online, right? But a very, very important part of the demand and supply ecosystem is forecasting, right? Going forward in this ambiguous scenario, digitization helps in terms of forecasting. Digitization, going forward, there will also be a need for all the retail stores to demand from the brands that they have a shorter lead time and they have a shorter cycle. Like that's where digitization also helps us as brands to be able to meet those shorter cycles that that you would need. Digitization is also about product presentation and sourcing. So today, we as brands, we expect you to walk into a particular buying event, place a bulk order with us, right? That's not something that is going to be the future. The future is going to be where you say that, okay, I will order my products as and when I need them. And I need to have a platform which is available where I can access your range, and I can do it at my own time and multiple times. Inventory management. Another very, very important point here, brands can help. Brands can provide you data, right? Brands can give you data in terms of bestsellers. Brands can help you build an assortment which works the best for your stores, right? All that comes from digitization, right? On the demand side, we talked about presentation online. Brands help you in terms of providing you the content in terms of digital marketing, sharing of IP. Something very important, which also came in your survey when you're talking about WhatsApp, right? That is something which is going to be very, very big, right? Today, what happens is that there are a lot of consumers who would go online searching for a particular thing. And then after that, what happens to that journey is something that gets lost. There is technology which is available today, which allows you to capture that unmet demand and direct those consumers on their WhatsApp, connecting the retailers and the consumers through WhatsApp with the help of bots. So this technology is available. We can discuss this. If anybody is interested, we can discuss this offline. Right.
So specifically, if I have to ask you, kind of, because I'm seeing the time ticking. So specifically, if we have to narrow it down and summarize it, how would you put this? What are the key elements?
So key elements, what I would put is that
Luxottica coming forward, yeah.
Luxottica coming forward. So these are things that I'm saying that Luxottica can offer, right? Apart from that, let's move to the end consumer. In terms of the end consumer, all brands, including Luxottica, we can provide you tools, right? Tools in terms of, for example, even presenting your product online, presenting your product digitally inside the store. Today, in the post-COVID scenario, you may not want the consumer to try on all your products, right? A virtual try-on tool is something that we could provide, where rather all brands could provide, so that the consumer checks what is it that the consumer wants, and then only touches the product that he actually kind of likes on his or her face. Other very important thing which I talked about earlier also was a virtual shopping experience for your high net worth customers. A lot of our opticians do this. They do this wine and cheese kind of a thing where they call only the high net worth customer inside the store, right? That can be done virtually. So you shorten the journey of the consumer inside the store. The virtual presentation of brands or for curated collection done by the brands, which helps them choose the product. And once they come inside the store, they only focus on what they have particularly chosen. So there are various things that can be done in collaboration with brands. But what we need to realize is that the way to sell, the way to communicate, and the way to work, all three is something that we can digitize and we can work together on.
Perfect. So I think Luxottica has a whole lot to offer, and I would recommend all opticians to try and get in touch to get more details on this. In the meantime, I want to get Ashutosh, and I would like all the panelists to try and keep it a little more crisp, because I think we have spoken a lot, and we're going to run short of time for everyone. Please go ahead, Ashutosh.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Well, how do I look at physical and digital? Or agar simple bhasha mein, you know, in a language which my opinion an optician can understand, is, you know, you have to see there is nothing physical and there is nothing digital. These two are not different. This is one. पहला है ना, अपने दिमाग से इसको हटा दो कि ये मेरा दुश्मन नहीं है, ये अलग है, ये एक ही है. यू नो, जैसे आप न्यूज़पेपर को एक मीडिया समझते थे या टीवी को दूसरा मीडिया समझते थे. इमेजिन डिजिटल इज अनदर मीडियम actually to enhance our sales. See, the problem is if we do not look at it as one, we will not create an approach. Take an optical store 20 years back or a 30 years back and take an optical store today. has digital been influenced in the store? पहले एक हमारे यहाँ एक optometrist होता था, 2 salesmen होते थे. Even today also when the new stores open, we have an optometrist, we have a salesman. Why not you think of appointing a digital salesman? A guy who can create a digital awareness for you. Let's understand, we are from a 60s or a 70s generation. We are not digital native. We are not, optician की जैसे रौनक ने कहा कि optician की जो next generation है, वो शायद digital ज़्यादा informed है. Imagine, think of an appointing a simple digital salesman की जो सब digital समझता है. Let's accept the fact that हमें नहीं समझता है. If we try and change this salt or a stone in the water and convert that stone into a salt or a sugar, it will change the taste. So physical or digital ko alag mat samjho. It's one. That's number one. Number two is optician should not get away from what he stands for. My opinion, an independent optician on the street stands for trust. He stands for authenticity. Correct? Trust and authenticity are the two things on the two pillars which optician has stood so far. Now how digital can complement to it? How you can still stand, one has to stand for something, and if digital can help optician to stand on the trust and confidence, my opinion, digital will further help enhance the business. It's a part of our ecosystem. Digital is everywhere. It's a part of our ecosystem. It's better we understand it quickly and try and implement it in our day-to-day business.
Perfect. So I think we can quickly move to Mr. Ketan. Mr. Ketan, are you there? Thank you so much, Mr. Ashutosh.
Yeah, I think just to clarify what I said, that India is divided in two parts. One that is very pro-digital. A lot of opticians will be very pro-digital, and the other part, which I feel a lot of rural areas will take some time to get digitized as well. So my answer to the first part, who are going to go digital, and how brand owners, really the question is how we can help our opticians to help them in the digital journey. So the first thing is that our brands are already advertised or promoted by our celebrities or lot of influencers on Instagram, on Facebook. The first thing is that opticians should actually be part of that Instagram page or the Facebook and capture those Instagram moments and transfer it on their WhatsApp. Like you said, the WhatsApp is the biggest medium, and tell their customers that this product is available. For example, I'm just saying Sonam Kapoor is wearing a particular brand, let's say Chloe or a Scott or a Tommy Hilfiger. Then that Instagram should be passed on by the opticians to their retailers, to their dedicated customers. We also have this product, and bring those opticians that, yes, you can try this product. That is the first part of it. So basically all the brands should help and connect with each of their opticians and make sure they are there and connected with every story that the brands are helping on Instagram and Facebook page. That is the first part of it. The second part of it, adding to more what Ashutosh and Akash has said, the opticians have to show the digital catalog of various brands. Or most of our brands are available on digital platform right now for the opticians. However, the opticians need to carry this forward and show it in the stores to the end consumers. Some part of it would have already pre-decided, but there would be a lot of people who would have not pre-decided before entering the optical stores. Example again, if somebody wants a particular brand, if he has only 10 pieces in his store, but the product is available 100 pieces with the brand, at least that digital catalog will help to generate the sales. The second part is that most of our friends in the optical industry has to now work on a digital catalog for the opticians, as due to COVID, like rightfully said, maybe the customer may not spend enough time on the in the optical store. So one is they make up their mind. Two, if they go to the store and also see at the more options. The third part is we as brand owners, and I can say a little bit for Sterling, if an optician chooses a product from the online catalog of Sterling, we can deliver that product within less than 24 hours at their doorstep. which means they can convert the opportunity of showing the product without having the inventory and getting the sale through with the digital catalog. So these are the ways the digital catalog will help opticians to maintain limited inventory and at the same time convert the inventory of the brand owners into a sale at their stores. So I personally feel that advertising and riding on the brand wagon and helping the digital way of selling the product at your stores needs to be adapted for those urban areas that are ready to go digital. Thank you.
Very interesting, very interesting. I think there are lots of solutions you also have here. I am going to move forward now. And Ronak, are you there?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you know, I will split this into two parts. One very interesting thing मुझे बताना है आपको about this ये पूरा online, offline and all that. जैसे online ticketing, you know, हम 90% of us जैसे ticketing के लिए, air ticketing के लिए online जाते हैं. But I'll tell you my story. You know, although I'm promoting online, digital and all that, ये सब अच्छा है. But I'm telling you, at least 50% of my tickets I'm buying offline from a ticketing agent. क्योंकि अभी मुझे ऑनलाइन भी कंटाला आता है, मतलब ये चेक करो, ये सर्च करो, इतने चॉइसेस, एक फोन करके हो जाता है फ्रॉम माय टिकटिंग एजेंट. बट आई विल टेल यू व्हाई. ये टिकटिंग एजेंट भी नया था. ये टिकटिंग एजेंट ने मुझे कोई रीजन से व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पर ऐड कर दिया एंड एवरी डे ही वाज गिविंग मी सम इंफॉर्मेशन. यहाँ का टिकट सस्ता है, वहाँ का टिकट सस्ता है. ही वाज गिविंग मी फॉरेन एक्सचेंज महंगा है, सस्ता है, सिम कार्ड लो, ये लो. So he was constantly following up with me. And I think from an optician perspective also, since WhatsApp is the best medium, ये बहुत easy है, उतना difficult नहीं है. और जो मुझे एक चीज कहना है कि हर एक optician को अपना brand बनाना चाहिए. Brand is very different, product is very different. उसको खुद को अपने आप को बेचना है because he is more important than the product in real sense today. जब भी आप from a digital perspective also. So everybody is doing lot of WhatsApp and all that. WhatsApp, Instagram, but अपने लिए अपने बारे में कुछ बात करो और इंटरेस्टिंग बनाओ अपने को. Your physical presence is more important, or your business and physicality is better. As Akash also said, and I said earlier as well, that even the best online retailer has 70% business coming from his own stores, offline stores. So that's one part of it, just an example. But specific to what Eternity and what OPM is doing to help opticians, you know, go digital, I would say we are basically taking two ideas to the market. One is that on our own opmeyewear.com site, we are soon within a week or 10 days, we have created a program where all our opticians can come online and they can sell the product. So we are making probably the first real marketplace by a brand in the world for opticians to sell, right? It's democratic. It's not my website, it's going to be our website anymore. And they can sell OPM eyewear on it wherever the consumer is. Consumer को भी benefit होता है, because अगर if I sell from my own warehouse, it might take 24 hours, 48 hours. But in this case, कोई दिल्ली में बैठा है consumer, उसने online shopping किया, the website will automatically take a Delhi optician who is part of the marketplace, and the delivery can happen in 3 hours or 4 hours. So this is amazing, you know, technology this way, digital this manner, ये सभी को हेल्प करेगा. ये डेमोक्रेसी हो जाएगी. इट्स नॉट अबाउट ब्रांड्स वर्सेस रिटेलर्स, ऑनलाइन वर्सेस ऑफलाइन, बट इट्स ऑल अबाउट गोइंग टुगेदर. सो दिस आई थिंक इज अ बिग स्टेप दैट ओपीएम इज टेकिंग, and within I think 2 weeks we will be able to onboard every retailer who is an OPM retailer to come and sell the product on our website, on the OPM eyewear website. That's one step. The second step is also okay, you know, lot of people feel ये मेरे से नहीं होगा, ये ऑनलाइन ऐसा है, e-commerce वैसा है, बहुत difficulty है, which is true. It's not easy, as you know, some of the other colleagues also told about. It's not very easy. Martin also said that it's not digital, it's not very easy. Bhavin said it's not cheap. So what we are trying is that you know, we are trying to create a platform that OPM and Eternity will help every optician to come online with his own e-commerce website. It is nothing to do with OPM. मेरा माल उसमें नहीं बेचे तो भी चलेगा. It's nothing at all. But we will teach them the basics of going and creating an e-commerce website. We have tie-ups with specific partners. It's like a one-stop shop. We will soon come out with some kind of a docket जिसमें उनसे 10 या 15 questions होंगे. Once they answer that questions, they can go live in 1 week. Probably in 2 days also, but I'm saying कि 7 दिन में they can go live. and it's not very expensive. It can be maybe 4,000 rupees a month at the most. So, you know, it's an experience that we want to give. They can try this. If they find it successful, at least they have an option to their consumer. Okay, consumer online bhi unse kharid sakta hai. So I think from Eternity and Opium, this is what we think, that we want everybody to come and try this out. Isse daro mat. And I, as every panelist is saying in the beginning, that digital or e-commerce not your enemy. Physical and digital is the new way together. Thank you, Jasbir.
Perfect, perfect. I think you already have a very good solution in place. And moving on to Bhavin.
Hey, can you see me, guys? Jasbir, can you see me? I was having some issue with the video, but now I think it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, Jasbir. So I think the relevant question which is there is, you know, what steps can brand take forward, you know, to helping the retailers, right? So with the key objective in mind of helping the retailer to achieve higher footfalls, okay, I feel a brand must engage with the retailer, you know, in a different manner. And I think some steps that we have taken and I think we should take, I'm just outlining them. One is, you know, which a retailer should analyze. One is analyze whether the brand has a digital marketing plan for the retailer. That's very important. Two, can the brand's program be localized to the retailer's sales goals in this market and create opportunities for exclusive collaborations? Three, what could be a shared budget for digital activities? Overall, as a start, probably 30% of the marketing budget for a retailer could be digital. People have already started this as per the polls that showed us. They can even look at going upward of 70%, 80%. That's a call which the brand and the retailer can make together. A 3 to 6 month dedicated plan is ideal to understand and review programs between the brand and the retailer. I think that's something which is very critical because digital allows us to do that. It allows us to get good feedback. Also then in terms of the execution, I think that the brand should drive the execution as they would have the regular and the necessary infrastructure to deliver on these initiatives with a clear review and feedback from the retailer. Let me give another example. You know, a successful example of who's been able to do this in the Indian space is the Indian auto industry, where the car brand shows, the car brand actually shares the advertising cost with the dealer, okay, to help customers get into the store for a test drive, right? Most of the advertising for the test drive is done through a digital communication and offers, all right? So we should look at this as a template to bring digital into our thinking. How do we bring the customer into our stores? How can the brand actually help that particular aspect? You know, in my conversations with retailers in the past year, their biggest concern is, you know, is paraphrased as under. I have everything in my shop. Mere paas sab kuch hai. Okay, I have great location, I have great staff, I have great products, services. I am ready. Main tayar hu. Just help me get more customers so that I can take care of them. Okay. So this got us thinking to a great extent. And at a team level, we came up with some very strong initiatives to digitally help the retailer. I would like to briefly just share some digital programs that we've done and under Ganco and Iris brands in the past year and on a pilot basis, and then take you and make you understand what the outcomes for these were. In all these programs, it was a partnership with the retailer. Okay. The overarching idea was to drive footfalls to the partner optical store. So what we did was, one was Facebook marketing. We boosted retailer presence to a younger audience with the brand's database and the customer's database to a neighborhood radius of 5 kilometers. Aim was to portray the optician as the best in the neighborhood. That was the first thing. Second, Kosh events. We tied up with key retailers in local geographies and promoted the store digitally through a Kosh pub quizzes and other similar events. With Femina, we did launch contests with our brands on the digital space, and the prize was not sent directly to the customer. It was sent to a retailer. The customer had to pick it up at the retailer's premise. 8 times out of 10, the retailer got a new customer. Okay. And even the participating retailer was given credit on the social media platforms. We made brand films and access was given to every retailer to use these brand films digitally on their TVs or whichever other visual medium that they had to use and exploit the brand films as much as possible. Lastly, and this has probably been our strongest initiative, was the launch of the Kosh Pod. Our strongest initiative was that Kosh Pod that we launched at the 2020 Mumbai show. Pod essentially is price on demand at the retailer store. It's a very unique concept, okay? There's a unique concept in selling eyewear which removes the issue of price disparity at all levels through a digital platform, but the brand experience is only at the retailer store. The pod addresses the desire to buy online, okay, with actual purchasing in a store at the best possible price, therefore building trust between the consumer and the retailer. And that for us was indeed path-breaking. The response that we have got to that has been really, really very positive. So for FY21 as well, we are increasing our sales on digital properties through our new programs, which we are going to be launching as soon as, like, you know, in a couple of weeks. And this will be rolled out to help the retailers get more footfalls into their store. I think that's the key thing that we're looking at right now. I think in conclusion, a brand must listen to the retailer's requirement and then plug in through their infrastructure to help the retailer target the right audience and drive higher footfalls into the store. That to me is a good digital strategy and a fruitful partnership between a brand and a retailer, which can become a win-win for both. Over to you, Jaspreet. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Bhavin. I think the other polls are still, we've got results for the earlier poll. Can we have that? I need to move to the next poll now. So, yes. So waiting for custom solutions seems like the popular thing. Everybody wants custom solutions from the brands. There's like almost 50% asking for solutions which are customized for themselves. Interesting. We'll move on to the next poll, which is local or international brands. In the near future, what would you prefer to sell? आने वाले दिनों में opticians क्या बेचना ज़्यादा पसंद करेंगे? So please go ahead and respond to the polls while we move on. And I'm going to take this question forward to Martin. Please, Martin, can you come in?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, very quickly, I know we are also running out of time.
Yeah, it seems like.
Coming back to smart digital and what I mentioned earlier, and the need for us to combine the offline and the online world smartly together. And that also is linked back to the importance of maintaining your relationship with your individual customers. Now, what I truly believe is that there is in the digital world not one magic solution. And the challenge will be is that for each and every customer, we would need personalized solutions because your database, your customers are all different. You need to connect differently and you have different priorities on how you drive your business, especially in a vast country like India, where there are so many differences. So you need to find personalized custom solutions to do digital as well, linking back to the previous poll. And that can be during what Akash was mentioning, the pre-purchase cycle, the purchase cycle, or the post cycle. And it can be anything from driving traffic to your store with marketing techniques, using your brand. It could be booking tools, so you enable people to book a schedule in the day's calendar. It could be providing tools with regards to doing refraction, not in your store, but at somebody's home. It could be services we provide afterwards with regards to warranties and damage. So all of these things that have already been provided before. So Essilor is piloting a lot of different things around the world, a lot of different solutions. I wouldn't say there is one magic button. You need to deploy and work and partner to find what works best for you and your business.
Perfect. Very interesting. Rohan, can you come in now, please?
Can you confirm if you can hear me, Jasbir?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let me start off with a big statement. I think Zeiss as a company is a truly digital company. The reason why I'm making this is because one of our business segments, which is semiconductor manufacturing technology, actually enables microchips to be manufactured, which then go ahead and support digital and connectivity across the world, right? And second thing is, I think as a strategy, digital as a strategy obviously has been in our DNA and in the way we work. And this is not just in Zeiss vision, but in all across our business segments that operate. We've used these digital technologies and other segments to collaborate with other relevant ecosystems and also build artificial intelligence to help develop solutions that might help detect, let's say, retinal health solutions, health problems that a person might have. Now, taking this to specifically from a vision perspective, let me just structure the conversation into the 3 points that I had made last. which was where are the digital gaps in my mind currently, and what is it that we can offer as a brand to enable our customers. So the first point was around reaching out better to the consumer, right? I'd like to just take this opportunity to connect with everybody on the webinar to say that we've been continuously working with customers to help them in wherever they are in their digital journey. So if it means having a presence on Google My Business, what might be required, our digital team is in touch with them to help them out. There are tools that we offer specifically. I'd like to also mention one of the solutions that we have, which is called the My Vision Profile, where we spoke about the consumer shopping journey now being different versus that of the past, right? So what this can do is effectively sitting at home, the consumer can actually make their vision profile, be aware of the products that Zeiss has to offer as a brand, and then walk into your store, right? And the conversion that we've seen on this is huge. So the engagement and the conversion that we've had with people who've completed the vision profile are actually close to about in excess of 10%. People actually then ultimately end up making the purchases. So we work with our consumers in offering what we already have, and obviously also work with our consumers in understanding what they need from the perspective of engaging with the consumer. The second bit that I had mentioned was around creating a seamless experience for a consumer. How do you really create a seamless digital experience in your stores? Now, in this, what I'd like to mention is one point that I had highlighted earlier was that we actually have an order taking platform, which does not have to make the order sending to be manual, but it can actually be integrated in the platform so that it's more precise and more accurate. But other than that, what I'd also like to tell you is that even in store, as your consumer walks from consultation to, let's say, eye exam to placing the order, we have a solution to actually connect this entire thing digitally. So it's one seamless experience for the consumer, and the experience is therefore going to be much superior and much more precise and accurate. Second point I'd like to mention also, again, something that we've had before, but again, in a scenario like this, some of the solutions that we offer on our digital devices are actually offer a contactless consulting as a solution. So in this post-COVID era, you could actually have the examinations done, keeping the distance between the consumer or the patient and the optician. Also, we have a concept called a remote refraction that is there in some countries, where actually the optometrist does not be sitting in the store to be able to conduct the refraction, but obviously the device and the patient would need to be in the store, right? So these are obviously in a post-COVID environment solutions that are more relevant, but just thought I'd just highlight that. The third bit that I spoke about was how do you really offer your consumer an omni-channel experience? I think as a company and as a brand and as our retail partners, I think we still have to make this journey. I think we are still just starting off. But I'd like to just highlight two solutions that we have at the moment on this. The first solution is part of a device that we've launched recently, which is called the Zeiss VisuFit. Now, a Zeiss VisuFit essentially is a centration device, a much more accurate centration device than what we've offered earlier. Along with that, what it does is it actually creates a digital avatar of your customer, of your consumer. Right, what that would enable you to or your consumer to do, and how will that impact your practice, is that your consumer can actually try on a lot more options on frames, obviously, that are listed on our platform versus what you can carry in store. So in a true sense, it is bridging the gap between what you carry physically versus the options that you could actually have available. And the second point I'd like to mention, and obviously we are also looking at, how can we extend this solution outside the store, but that's something that's really work in progress. The second part I'd like to mention is also we are actually piloting a platform, and this again is a rollout in some countries where we are looking at people getting our customers to actually get online using a platform. So that's something that we're working on. So what I think the way it's going to work is that there are obviously going to be some solutions that we could offer, which our customers could adapt according to their requirements, and more so it is going to be individually understanding and assessing the needs of each customer and each retailer to come up with solutions that really work for them.
Perfect. I think that's very good. Do we have the results of the polls, please? Can we just have the results of the poll? I think Zeiss is very, very prepared for digital. Oh yeah, okay. So mainly local India brands is the ones that everyone wants to own. So house brands, I think they should be happy to hear this. Everyone wants to sell more Indian brands than Chinese. Chinese is like really low. Chinese and Korean has really taken a hit. COVID has given them a hit. Good. So I'm going to go to the next poll now. So the next poll is about, where are we? second. Yeah. In the near future, how would you prefer to buy from brands? In आगे जाते आप brand से कैसे खरीदना चाहेंगे? Just all the options are there. Please look at that. In the meantime, I'm going to take this forward and 1 second. I'm just putting off the poll. Yes. So here, now I would like to please ask Mr. Siraj to share his thoughts. I think he has something interesting he wants to share with us. And Mr. Siraj, can you come on?
Yeah, I think you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks once again, Jasbir, and thanks once again to all the panelists and the attendees of this program. I hope the discussion has given us some guidelines to follow in the coming days in improving our business. And now I want to share a thought in my mind. It has been in my mind for some time, and I want to share with you something very new, perhaps. First of all, you all know that I am not an optician, nor a wholesaler, nor a brand owner, or a manufacturer. I am an accidental insider in this industry, yet now I love this industry as much as you do. You can take me as a friend who loves this industry and also may be a possible representative of a new category of which you can collectively generate. That is my thought. You can also take me as a friend who loves this industry and also may be a possible representative of a new category of customers which you can collectively generate. We currently have two types of eyewear, prescription glasses and sunglasses. I suggest we should add another category to it with a new name, maybe vanilla glasses. Now, vanilla means basic and plain. Vanilla glasses are, 1 minute. Vanilla glasses are for, now plano lenses fitted in frames with a bit of cosmetic touch. A completely new category which should be promoted and sold as lifestyle product. If promoted well and made attractive for fashion conscious customers, it will be bought in multiple pairs to match their wardrobe like shoes, jackets, tops, and jewelry. What I'm saying is we might have ignored the fact that eyes can dress up to look good even if they don't have a prescription. Why not make eyewear a fashion product for each and everyone? Don't you believe that an eyewear can also enhance your looks? As optical business people, we should begin thinking how we can make ear glasses a fashion wear. Vanilla glasses from now should be a new range of ready-to-wear fashion product in optical stores, and you should promote it as much as like you promote the other eyewear. Let spectacle frames and sunglasses become prescription glasses, sunglasses, and vanilla glasses. Adding a new category means automatically adding to the growth and profitability of the business. For the start, you have an advantage. You don't have to buy them from your vendors separately at this moment. Fit a part of from your existing stock of different cosmetic shapes of frames with plano lenses and showcase them like vanilla glasses in your shelves for ready pick. But to make this practicable, you have a big task in hand. That is to promote this idea to attract customers' attention and make them believe that what we are doing is in their interest. How can we do that? There are many ways to do this, but what's important is for all of us to take this idea forward together and also speak in one common language. Focus Media will play its part in doing so, and I hope you will all join me in this initiative. Thank you.
Very, very interesting idea. I think vanilla eyewear sounds like a very cool eyewear category. And frankly, I think what you're doing is changing like how barbers became a hairstylist. You're trying to change opticians into eye stylists, and they should look at eye styling more as a focused way. Now we are going to take the results of the poll before we go into the Q&As. Do we have the results of the poll, please? And I think most of our panelists have spoken.
And one more thing I want to add.
Please. Yes. Hello?
No, it's okay. Yes, oh.
Yeah?
I had some other point. I don't want to.
Okay, so the polls are showing that traditional method is still the method to go. Mr. Ketan is smiling over there. I can see him. He is the one who's most for the traditional. Yes, so I think even the opticians still have reluctance to move digital, but I'm hoping that somewhere, and I think there is the second is interesting. It's like the B2B portals also are getting a fair amount of traction. Let's see how we move forward. I'm going to take the Q&As, and there's some very, very interesting questions coming in. I'm going to start with the one which came here from Mr. Shailendra Monga. So this is interesting. So far, brands have also had the retailers sign agreements that a retailer will only sell on offline and not online. Hasn't this given a major disadvantage to the retailers? Can I ask this to Mr. Akash Goel? I'm assuming Luxottica would have more stricter rules than others.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so valid question. And just a clarification here, the agreements that we sign with all our partners are for the offline store, but that doesn't mean that they cannot sell online, right? As far as house brands are concerned, which is brands that we own, as long as you sign the ARA and as long as you agree to follow the rules, which are, by the way, also applicable to the other online players, right? Selling house brands online is not an issue at all. In fact, we would help you also in giving you all the digital assets that you need for that. As far as licensed brands are concerned, we ourselves are licensees of those brands, right? There, the brands take a call whether they want to be online or not. And we must keep in mind that it's not that these brands are freely available on all online platforms. There are rules to be followed. Today, there are very, very few online brands where these international brands or licensed brands are available because they agree to follow certain rules, and also they have a certain adjacency. If that same can be driven in your web stores, of course, we can give you that possibility to do that.
Interesting. So I think, yeah, so you have a good solution. We have another question from Mr. Sanjay Tekchandani. He says, all of your panelists own big brands, which are quality products and also much more expensive, and it's when they're being sold online, then the price that is being sold online. How do we opticians compete with online, which has taken away most of our patients? I would want Ketan to kind of come in on this if you can. Mr. Ketan.
Sanjay, I don't believe that most of the business of opticians has been taken away by the online players. What online players has taken away is the growth of the Indian industry, to be largely. I mean, Indian industry was growing at 15% per annum across many years. And some part of this growth, unfortunately, has gone to some of the organized players and to some online players. I would still believe that major part of the opticians have not lost completely. Only those guys who have not changed with times or still in a very, very old traditional way of doing business, they have suffered. But I think most of the business are able to retain their customers. Yes, the number of prescriptions might have been reduced, but overall the value has been maintained across board is what we see. We are focused purely on traditional opticians and we still are growing. So if you guys are not growing, then how are we growing? Definitely, we are not supplying to online. So I do not agree 100% that, yes, the growth of Indian industry has been taken away by Lenskart, maybe by some other players, but definitely Indian opticians are not completely at a disadvantage. The trust factor that an optician needs to create and build his own brand name together with a good service will definitely keep them in business. Thank you.
Very, very nice. I think we have another very interesting question. This one I'm going to target to Mr. Ashutosh. I think he's targeting you here. Mr. Hiren Shah. We've been hearing a lot of motivational pep talk from a lot of brands, but this time, just talk will not do. It has to be action. Do you plan to put your money where your mouth is? Mr. Ashutosh, I'm sure you have answers for him.
Yeah, in fact, the answer is not yes, answer is strongly yes. What I mean by strongly yes, in fact, I was seeing the online poll conducted, and where what is optician asking, extended credit, deferment, blah blah blah. I think my opinion, what is optician asking is how to increase walk-in at this store and how to increase the sale. My opinion, optician will even pay faster if the brands and the companies can help optician to increase walk-ins and increase sale. So what is that we will be doing, and what is that whatever money we have we will be putting in, it's giving consumer to the retailer. And we have very successfully done. We have given close to about 8,000 consumer to retailer when we did a joint program with HP, wherein we gave consumer in the form of a name of the consumer, address of the consumer. Now, as soon as the lockdown opens, we'll be giving another 3,500 consumer to the store. So the win is of somebody who is going to give consumer to the optician, increase its walk-in and improve his sellout. And we are strongly on that.
Perfect, perfect. So that I think you have, I was sure you had the answer. Now, there's one question from Mr. Subhash Kataria. Everyone speaks of digital marketing. There is no talk on optometry and dispensing skills. What role will these skills play? They cannot be replaced by digital methods necessarily. How will lens companies emphasize on these skills? Can Essilor take this? Martin.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Yes, so in the digital world, there are also a lot of efforts being placed on digital refraction and digital solutions. That is very much still work in progress on a global basis, not just for us, but there's a lot of startups that are doing the same. I still believe that in the end, for the majority of cases, you would need to have interaction, but that can, for example, also be happening through digital means and solutions like what we are using today. I think it is still very much work in progress. There is not a handy solution available yet that is foolproof, but that is being worked upon. So I think that is where I would leave it. Essilor is involved. I know probably Zeiss is involved. There are a lot of startups involved in finding solutions that will work online. But so far today in India, we are not yet there.
Then there's one question which seems, I think, in the new digital economy, do you see credit periods being increased or product prices reduced to encourage quicker cash transactions? Bhavin, can you come in over here?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, Jaspreet?
In the new digital economy, do you see credit periods being increased or product prices reduced to encourage quicker cash transactions? So they're asking what is the, in a way, financial support in this market. It's not so much digital, but I just thought it's there, so might as well find out.
Yeah, I think this is a very valid question, which is right now on every single person within the industry, right? So it could be a retailer, it could be a manufacturer, it could be a wholesale. It's a very pertinent question. It's a very honest question. So I don't want to beat around the bush on this. I think everybody has a role to play in this, and everybody needs to play it to the best of their ability. I don't think there is a space for anybody to come out and say, you do this or you do that. It's something which everybody individually has to take a call, and unitedly only we will be able to kind of bridge this gap which is there. And again, we are not the only industry which is facing this issue. Every single industry in this country is facing this issue. So we all will have to come together, and that's the only way we'll be able to come out of this. It's not going to be one person who's going to be able to, hold hand of the entire industry. The entire industry has to hold each other's hands. And I think that's the only way we'll come out. So it could be a short extended credit period term. It could be a better pricing. It would be depending upon the brands. It would be depending upon the businesses, okay, how they view this going forward. But, we are all in this together, right? So at that point, we all need to come out of this also together. And that is the key thing, and I know for the first time, which gives me so much confidence, is that for the first time, there are some very great senior people who are addressing these issues at the government level, at the central government level, at the state government level, some very senior retailers who are working hard to kind of get our point of view across, which has never happened in the past. So for me, I'm very hopeful that this is going to be the way forward. This has brought the industry together. Everybody knows each other's weaknesses and strengths. So it's not something which is, something which is open to debate in that sense. So we all will have to work together. One solution is not going to fit all. There's not going to be one standard thing which everybody will go to or whatever. But we all need to respect each other that, there are certain things that need to be close to. So that is my answer to that thing. I had raised my hand on another question which Sanjay had asked earlier. And like Ketan had said, about the trust issue. I think brands need to reinforce, and Sanjay, this is for you. Brands need to reinforce the credibility which retailers have lost in the minds of the customer, right? So the trust has to be re-delivered. The trust has to be reconnected, okay? And that is going to be a very important phase. It's not going to happen overnight. So like I said, our pod initiative, which has been there, it essentially takes away the entire pricing issue. Even the retailer doesn't know the price, okay? The brand decides the price. It's the same price across any global level, okay, which a retailer sees. So if you are seeing it in your house, consumers seeing it in their shop, or you are seeing it in their own retail store, the price is same across the board, right? So that is one way we can build up the trust between the retailer and the consumer. So I wanted to just add to what Ketan had already said to that, to Sanjay's question. It's not going to happen overnight. This has not been lost overnight. It's going to take a while, but we need to start the process now. Thank you.
And I think anybody who's actually seeing any of the questions and you want to personally answer any of them, please go ahead, and this is probably the chance to do this. You as panelists, if you have any question which you like and you want to answer, I would want to give you this opportunity. In the meantime, I have a very interesting comment I want to talk about while you look through the questions. Can Vision Plus, I think Mahendra Gujar has asked, can Vision Plus start a digital platform as a third-party marketplace where all the retailers are invited to sell online? I think he's talking about you and I online, and he's just reminding everybody that we had created something. The market at that time wasn't ready. I'm hoping they are ready now. So I think Rohan and Ronak, if you have anything that you can take from here, please feel free to pull out and answer any of the questions. In the meantime, I am thinking we are genuinely out of time, but anybody who has anything to kind of take from here, please feel free to go ahead and take the questions.
Can I make a answer to one of the questions?
Sure, sure.
So I think there's a person called Heyman Artist. He says, do we free ourselves from Chinese products in the current crisis, which is the root cause of the whole thing? And are we prepared to do this? So the answer in the short term, maybe no. The answer in the long term, maybe yes. India should definitely become a big manufacturing country versus a service country, which is currently. I am sure a lot of companies will think about putting up the plant here, but I think adequate government support needs to be given, and ancillary products also needs to be manufactured in India. So answering your question, yes, there is a possibility in the long term, but in the short, immediate term of 1 year, I still feel that we all are dependent to a certain extent for products being made in China, because the Indian manufacturing is not yet in quantity and quality in certain cases to the level that is needed to sell a good brand.
Great. Now, I know that there are more questions. Most people would say that, yes, we've extended our time by more than what our time was 1.5 hours. We've actually gone ahead of that. But I still think they won't get panelists like this again. So if any of the panelists still think there is something they want to answer, one last chance to please go ahead and take the question, because you're not available to them every day. So if you have anything you can take on, please do. And otherwise, I'll have to close the session. Anybody? Any of the panelists? Please raise your hand if you think you want to answer any more questions, or we can probably just have to thank everyone. So I would like to thank all our panelists for taking time and sharing their thoughts with us today on this platform. And a special thank you to Mr. Vivek Vikram and his team from IIO, who have been a great support in making this happen. Thank you all our viewers who joined us for this webinar. And lastly, before I leave, a small message to everyone. शुक्रिया आप सबका आज इस वेबिनार में हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasbir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.